Elon blocked us, bro. So we blocked on X. They don't block us on X. It's all good. I see that it's recording. I don't know if
Yes.
it's going through its usually it has a little a little pre dynamic mode that it goes through, but just in case it's not, let's go ahead and just go ahead and kick this thing off, man. It's Culture Uncut podcast, and I'm here with my host. I'm not gonna say my co-host. I'm not gonna say guest because you guys know Gio been part of the show. He's been kicking it with me from day one, man, kicking it with us. So I just want to do a tap in, check in with the culture, see where you at. Woke, still woke. I see a lot of people don't tuck they woke in. Know what I'm saying? A lot of people don't tuck they wokeness in. I'm trying to see where you at with it. Do a geo tap in real quick. Where you at with it, my friend?
Oh yeah, man. I'm still here, still good. Uh, trying to fix some of the misnomers that they have about the whole woke community, but we still here live and kicking, baby.
Oh, so where you at with it? So what's your take on it? What's your I know they done hijacked it, you know what I'm saying? They
Mm-hmm.
done they
Mm-hmm.
they done they done made woke gay. So what's your take on you gotta keep it a buck, they don't switch it up on us now. They ain't what we used
Right.
to. So we got a remix, call something else. So what's your take on it? Like what do you call it now?
Um, to be honest with you, bro, I don't even know what to call it. I really didn't like the term woke when we had it. I understand what it was trying to say, but like I said, I would just like to say people are more aware now. They're seeing things differently through a different lens, so that's more or less how I look at it. But I do feel that, like you said, they hijacked it because they seen the momentum and the power that we had. So just like the Disney and the Frozen thing, they wanted to switch up the algorithm. So now you see woke and you think it means leftist or liberal or stupid shit like that.
What it means to you?
Uh, to be aware, if we looking at it from the analogy of being sleep, when you sleep, you don't know what's going on, but then when you start to wake up, you become aware of your surroundings. So I just like to say it's aware.
So speaking of awareness, man,
Hmm.
I think the world is in like they call it like the information age, right? There's so much
Hmm.
information out there, and people are enlightened and are aware of a lot of things that sometimes it's dangerous. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
To be this aware. What's your take on the state of the world and all this information and access to information and where we're going with it?
Like you said, bro, it can be a dangerous thing. Just simply for the fact of you have access to so much information, it can become overwhelming and it can overload you. So you got to find ways to detach or um, I like what you do a lot of times when you find humor or you make light of situations just so that people aren't too serious, too stuffy. You know what I mean? Sometimes you gotta, you know what I'm saying, let the air out your collar a little bit. So
I mean, it's tough. You only get one life to live, man. You got to find some type of laughter and enjoyment into it. I think the pressure sometimes it put blinders on us.
hmm.
And I was watching Keys. He had an episode, and he was saying that he feel like it's like a narrative um, warfare where everybody's
Hmm.
trying to like just pitch their narrative on different agendas and whatnot, and it makes sense what he was presenting, and it also like makes you wonder like with people who have like radical minds and free minds, free thinkers, and people who don't like subject themselves to like a system and a thought process, you can see where they're trying to like eliminate voices in a sense or
Hmm.
suppress voices. And with all this technology, it's hard to figure out what's real and what's fake, you know.
Hmm.
So how you been navigating that realm? You know what I'm saying?
Um, yeah, man. I try not to consume too much, just like you said, because it's you don't know what's real. You don't know what's the deep fake. You don't know, with AI and how it can control images and make you think that certain things are what they're not. So yeah, you got to be careful. I know that they try to do things like fact check and you know,
Boy,
um,
they didn't even get mad when you fact check. What?
yeah, yeah. So
Boy, them boy, you pull out the fact check. Them boy like, hey man, hey, that's fake news, nigga. Hey, you better tuck that. Hey, nah, cause we ain't trying to hear the real.
yeah, they just want to buy into their own, like you said, their own agenda. So I just try to research. I try to at least see things from multiple angles. I do appreciate Twitter for that. Um, my feed or my for you page is definitely with, as they say, both sides. Pause intended. Um,
Yeah, cause they giving it to us both sides. Yeah, giving it to us. It's like by any means necessary, boy. You gonna take it too, boy. You ain't got no choice.
man, yeah, they gonna pause. They gonna force it on you. Um, but
Shoot.
yeah, man, you just gotta have discernment, bro. That's really all it is, man. You gotta stay prayed up and ask for discernment so that you can be able to see through the bullshit.
Shoot. Speaking of prayed up and seeing through the bullshit, man, sinners.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Boy, they just put out. They
A
put out.
banger.
Oh boy, what's your take on sinners? How you feel about it? How you where you at with it, man? Is it a hype? Is a couple lines, a couple one liners in there? I'm definitely gonna go watch it
Mm-hmm.
again.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so much to digest and unpack, and I don't think like I love to have this conversation with you because I know like you're a spiritual brother, and with your mind going to deep spaces. So I want to hear your take on it.
I love it. I love it. I feel that Ryan Coogler is a great director, a great thinker. He prepares his films. A lot of them are very multi-layered. So it's always going to be some onion peeling. You got to keep digging, keep digging. But I do like again that he found parts that you can have humor in or different things. The duality of the two brothers, I feel that was important. Whether you did want to look at the red and the blue, whether you did want to look at their different personas. So I think that was big. The dynamics of their relationships with their partner, how they interacted with their partner, whether it's Smoke and Annie, Stack and Mary, Preacher Boy, and I keep thinking about the Perline, how what I'm saying, how all that go, even
Oh,
Bo and Grace. So it's very multi-layered.
I got a couple like
Go ahead,
couple
shoot them off,
joints on
bro.
a couple joints on there. I'm trying to figure out, all right, where y'all going with this one on. That's why I'm gonna go back and watch it. But they do say one quote in there, and I know you had brought it up a while ago.
Mm,
A lot of times when we have these conversations, it'd be, we'll be discussing politics and whatnot. And one of the quotes I remember you saying was, "The devil you know is really better than the devil you don't."
mm-hmm,
And that
mm-hmm,
got brought up in the movie when they was talking about, them leaving Mississippi,
mm-hmm,
going to Chicago and seeing the world, and then what brought them back to Mississippi, you know? And it made you wonder, it's so many, like, double, triple entendres that come along with
mm-hmm,
that, and it makes you try to get in the mind of the screenwriter and figure out, like, where they was going with it. That's why I wanna go back and watch it again. But it deals with, like, music,
mm-hmm,
trauma, uh,
mm-hmm,
and, you got the spiritual aspect of it when in the beginning, when it was at the church,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
in the Delta holding that guitar, and I'm like, "Man, I don't know
mm-hmm,
where this gonna go." And we always have these, in our culture, we always talk about, there's gonna be a time when you at the crossroads and you gotta make a decision.
mm-hmm.
The Bone Thugs, like, there's been so many, like, different,
Boom,
like,
boom, 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 boom.
"Oh, what you gonna do? There ain't nowhere to run, but just hold on to you 'cause it's gonna come." Like, and it makes you like, "Yo, bro," like, they really put these images together
Mhm.
and in a such a, like, artful, meticulous way, and I'm just like, I was mind blown by it. Like you was talking about the duality of it, the trauma, and you dealing with like, bro. I don't want to. Well, I think people at this stage don't watch it like
Oh yeah,
10.
we ain't holding back for no spoilers. If you ain't seen it, then you missing out. But we gotta get the people what they looking for. So go ahead, get your shit off, buddy.
Man, with Stack and Smoke, man, like,
Mhm.
what's up with all the coochie eating? You know what I'm saying? Like, you
It's
know what I'm
good
saying?
for the
Like,
soul.
I think it's something there, bro. It's something with all the coochie eating. Like, they had, like, every character had their different moment where they were eating coochie. I'm like, yo, what's going then you had in the beginning, you had the snake. Think about it now, you
Yes.
had the snake out there
Yeah.
licking his tongue, and
Mhm.
then, like, Michael B. Jordan with the white girl, like, "Oh, you wasn't saying that when you went."
When you stuck your tongue in my coos.
Damn. And then Preacher Boy, he
Yeah.
he he
He's
heard that, and his mind went like, "Hey, I wanna see what that do." So, it makes you wonder, like, what's the message with all the coochie eating, bro? Like,
Yeah, that's the real fruit of life, bro. So, but no, I mean, like you said, bro, I love the fact that we joking about it. But yeah, when the snake opened up his mouth, it's very familiar of a picture that, of course, me and you know about, and several other men know about. So I feel that was done, on purpose. They do say that life comes from there. I don't want to say they do say we do know that life comes from there. So, like I said, I think it was just a nice little way to, you know what I'm saying, put some of our culture in there. So, real men eat the poom poom.
so when yeah, yeah, I mean, hey, you might gotta make sure that thing right. You go down
Yes.
there, take your ass down there you want to, and just be thinking like, "Alright, I'm about to be a real man." Your ass come back up with bumps on your face, then you like, "Alright, man, get what you get, don't pitch a fit." Type vibe. But to the duality of it, right? Like,
Mhm,
you got the split souls, right? And both of
right,
them dealt with trauma. You
mhm,
know, Smoke dealt with the trauma of killing his dad, right?
mhm,
And
mhm,
the abuse that came behind that. Stats was dealing with the trauma of, like, it was the molestation part with his mom was molesting him type
mhm.
vibe. And I'm like, "Yo, what's the spiritual takeaway from that?" You know? Is it
Uh,
like
Go
go
ahead,
ahead.
finish it up, bro.
No, I wanna hear what your take on what do you think? Then
I do feel that, like you said, that those are two issues that we deal with, in our culture and our community. Is going to be the two masculine heads, going at it. Um, so I do understand the smoke and his father thing, and then, like I said, we do have issues where we have seen. Younger men being introduced to things by older women, whether it be family members of, aunts, cousin, and in this case, it's his mother. So I do feel like that can be challenging. I think that does speak to the over sexualized nature of our community. I feel that he tried to put that in our face so that we can see that and talk about that. Um, so I do feel like that is important to, like you said, how their upbringing was. Um, and then if we're looking at it from that way, even though Smoke had to go at his father with the masculinity, you can see how Annie and her femininity was able to kind of sort of help him, and then vice versa with Stacks, and seeing how he was exposed to so much femininity. You can see how
mhm.
him and Annie, him and Mary go at it. Like you said, she said, "You fucked me so hard, I thought you know what I'm saying, changed your mind." Like, they were very sexual. So I feel that was done on nature.
Okay, okay, okay. Hey, boy, you broke it down in a doggone real way just now. I was thinking I was thinking the same thing, like, and we talk about healing a lot on this show and
Mhm.
and also, like, different, like, trauma-based, issues, and without healing, your gift will serve your pain, you know what I'm saying,
Yes.
and not your purpose, is what I was gathering from that. Like, you can clearly see that both of them brothers needed some type of healing, and they always confided in each other, and I think
Mhm.
when they got to a certain point, that was the the hard part of, like, uh, I can't I can't kill him. You know what I'm saying? I can't, like, it was like,
Mhm.
I know I gotta go watch it again, but, just basing it off of that brotherhood type, relationship, and, I don't know, like, a lot of us have those close relationship, whether it be a family member or whether it be close friends, cousins and whatnot. We do have those relationships, and then also being deep rooted in the South,
Mhm.
where the blues was birthed, and we go to church and it's like kind of like, man, it's a lot to unpack when dealing with this movie, and I gotta go back. Even with the sawmill,
Mhm.
they pulled up to the sawmill, and when I watched it end, I'm glad I watched it through. Like they had like a different ending and multiple endings at the end that you had to sit through and watch. But
Mhm.
watching the sawmill, what are your take on the sawmill deal?
I think it was interesting. Just speaking off of it wasn't solely just a sawmill. Like they said, it was like a slaughterhouse. So with the different stains on the floor, I thought that it was interesting that Remick kind of sort of dropped a dime and let him know, like, yeah, like they coming back. And that's
Mhm.
why you know what I'm saying, he felt in his way is that you join us and we can defeat them. Because like I said, he had the same run-ins with them, you know what I'm saying, with the native people. But yeah, I think the sawmill was again important, um, and had various layers. There's concepts that, again, no spoilers, that's where Stack hid out. That's why it was locked when the battle was going on, so that he could still make it. Going back to that brotherhood of what you talked about, I thought that, to speak on that brotherhood, was good, that even in the midst of them fighting, Remick had control over basically everybody else's mind, but you know what I'm saying, a certain select few. And for him to sit there and say, "Bro, I'm gonna let you live, even though I know what's going on. I'm gonna let you live, but you got to look out for our family," like you said, in the South, how we was raised, and for him to even still be turned and still honor that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm still finna honor my brother. And then, as like you said, Smoke noted it was daytime, and he still was like, "I'm still finna look out for my brother." So, um, I think it all played a good point, man.
Yeah, I thought it was a important piece because that place was. I remember like in the scene where when he came back and they bought the sawmill,
Hmm.
and his mom, when he told his mom they bought the sawmill, her like expression, like usually when you come back and you do something big and you tell your mom you
You
did something.
everybody happy, yeah.
Right. So it made, and she wasn't happy. She was like in her mind, like, oh, that place is like,
Hmm.
that's an old slave joint. You know what I'm saying? Like that's where people get slaughtered.
Hmm.
And in her mind, what do you did and what resources, what did you did when you leave here and what did you bring back? In her mind, that's what it felt like it was going, because she wasn't excited about them buying that. But even though she wasn't excited, they did their little, you know what I'm saying, they got in their little horny bag, molestation bag, and then she still was on board with helping them figure out, what I'm saying, how to make it right.
Yeah, yeah.
Which make you think like, 'cause like, is that way like the whole mama's boy thing come from, right?
Mhm,
Like, I don't know, maybe I'm off
mhm.
on that, but
No, no, you're not off, bro. You're not off. I know it's kind of sort of off topic, not off topic, but off culture. Um, Over there in Europe, it was a book written about Oedipus Rex. And so in Oedipus Rex, you know what I'm saying, the son ended up, like you said, same thing, making love with his mother, and that caused a little bit of I don't want to say friction, but that caused something. So you right on there with that whole mama's boy thing and where that energy comes from. So um yeah, you on point, bro.
I like, Preacher Boy, he was good, but it was some parts, I'm like, "Come on, dog, you gotta do better than that." You know what I'm saying? You
Which
gotta
ones?
be. There's a couple parts, bro. I was like, "Bro, you showing you a little bit too green now. You're a little bit too green on a lot of this stuff," and I'm trying to figure out why. I know we in the South, and
Hmm.
these boys, they done went out into the world and came back with all these worldly experiences and whatnot. But, I like like his part, one of the favorite parts about it was also in the beginning, and his dad said a real cold line, and I don't know, like if you ever heard anything like that before. He was like, "Yo, you know, that devil, you keep on dancing with it, you know, one day he gonna follow you back home. That devil you keep on
Mhm,
dancing with, one day it's gonna come back home with you." And nothing like his father was trying to prepare him for real life, but it
mhm,
seems like, like we all like as young adolescent, when you young men, you get to that stage where you want to go out and show that you a man and see the world on your own, and yeah, you don't raise me right, but I want to do it my way type vibes. But he wasn't listening. And I think his father picked up on it because he was sneaking out doing his music thing, and then he was coming back and he was trying to mix the two worlds.
mhm.
And that's one thing that they tell you you can't play around with. You know what I'm saying? You one foot in, one foot out. You know. So I think his pops was trying to tell him, "Hey, figure that shit out, boy." So,
Yeah.
have you ever had any experiences like that as a young man? You know.
Yeah. I do agree with that. Like you said, I do feel that Pops, um, wanted to look after his son. He wanted the best for his son. And like you said, he just went about it in the way that he knew. So, he did push the church on him because he knew what it done for him, his family. And like you said, he was trying to protect his son. But like you said, when especially us being young men and we're getting ready to grow, we got to sometimes, bump our head and we hope that, it don't leave too big of a knot or a mark. But yeah, I had times where, you know what I'm saying, I went against what my parents instilled in me or taught in me. Um, but like you said, I'm thankful and grateful that, the outcome wasn't um, as bad as it could be. Um, but definitely I look at it differently now as, my babies is growing up. And of course, with your daughter's growing up, that now it's you look at it different because you done been through the side of parents telling you what's out there in the world, and then now you going out and seeing what's in the world, and now you still get to tell somebody else what's in the world, but their mind is gonna be, okay, well, that's how the world was for you. When I go out, it's gonna be something different. So you still got to try to navigate and be like, hey, I seen what's out there, and I know that you want to see what's out there, but at least take heed to what I'm saying or take it with you.
You know what else I thought was that's some real that's some real shit that sometimes, like, when our parents do school us up on stuff like that, it
Mhm,
goes in one ear and out the other. And,
mhm,
like, thinking back of when I was that age, watching this movie, and I was that age, and, I had that type of conversation with my pop before I went off to the world, and, I was just, like, we wanna go and we wanna be adventurous and we wanna take on, like, we wanna build something and take all the tools that you taught us and take
mhm.
them out and put them to work, right? Um, uh, sometimes it comes out and it's fruitful, in other cases, it's not. I thought, like, the one part with it almost seemed like, you had, like, multiple, like, devils. I don't wanna say
Mhm,
devils, but that may be, like, extreme. But you remember Old Boy, when they was getting ready to open up the blues spot because 'cause they're doing the
mhm,
battle of the blues, and he was scouting talent, right? Then
mhm,
he walked up to the old boy who had the harmonica joint,
mhm.
and he was like, and he got to talking to him, and so I guess I'm trying to get, what's your biggest takeaway from all of it? Just watching, what's your biggest takeaway from it? And then I'll go back to where I'm trying to land on this thought I had.
You saying that my biggest takeaway from the whole movie?
Yeah.
Okay. I think it boils down to choices. Several characters in that movie had to make various choices. I think it's like you said, um, dancing with the devil. You can end up, you know what I'm saying, bringing him home. Same thing, like you said, if you lay down with dogs, you bound to get fleas. So it's like letting you know that it's gonna be a fine line. Um, I think it's also letting you know that there are things that you can do to prepare yourself. But then I also look at it as the scene of when Remick is trying to get Sammy, um, and he starts praying or he starts reciting the psalm, and it's like it goes back to show that as we all know, sometimes you can not say sometimes, as we all know, they have taken what was meant for good and made it evil. So that's one thing. But then I think the other part of it that some people might miss is how Remick was saying, like, my people was oppressed too. And so this is the same thing that they've done to you. So I think that's another layer in there. Um, so I think it's just a lot about, trying to figure out and what choices that you need to make. And as long as you are secure in that, um, then yeah, you got to deal with the consequences of your choices.
I thought, no, I love that, and that gives me another reason to go back and watch it again. But I also thought that was unique was like with like the vices,
Mm-hmm.
temptation, and then the
Mm-hmm.
currency, the money. It
Mm-hmm.
seemed like every character had a vice or something that was tempted to them, whether it was money, music, sex, power,
Mm-hmm.
right? That was the ones where I kinda like, all right, with old boy in the harmonica, he got to a certain point on the conversation where he was like, "Man, I done had to talk with the devil several times, and, I ain't gonna never sell out," or not sell out, but, like, um, that's why it kinda felt like, all right, Michael B. Jordan character, I forget which can't remember who was it Stax? Or
Oh,
Smoke, it was Smoke at that point.
smoke. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So he was like, he kinda figured that liquor was his vice, how to control him.
Mm-hmm.
So he said, "Okay, how about I offer you X amount of corn liquor," and then he v folded under pressure just for he can get his vice. So
Mm-hmm.
it kinda went to like, all right, they're delving into, like, how our vices control us, like, and if we look at how the world is, like, how people will find different ways to control you, whether it be through, like, money,
Mm-hmm.
and you will see the different forms of currency that was going throughout the movie where, like, when she was talking to the one white devils and he had pulled out a whole different type of stuff, she was like, "Damn, what kind of money is that?" Like, I
Mm-hmm.
ain't know like, it was just, like, interesting to me to see, like, the different layers of how they unfolded the temptations, I guess, and how they would utilize that to sell your soul in a sense, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like, how far are you willing to go to sell your soul? I guess it was like a lot of different, like, symbolic stuff that was going on, and, like, sometimes when we think of, like, the devil and we talk about, like, we think of, like, violence, and
Mm-hmm.
everything ain't, like, something that you sometimes the devil ain't gotta take your soul violently. He can do it,
Mm-hmm.
like, other ways, bro. And and it can be like little slick ways, slow, slick ways, and we don't even
Mm-hmm.
realize that we selling our soul, like, slowly, and then by the time you realize it and he was saying, like, it's too late. Your soul is already gone, like, these how vampires work, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's why they kept saying, "That's not your brother, that's not your brother," like, that's something different because his soul was already gone, wrapped
Mm-hmm.
into whatever they sold it as, you know what I'm saying? Man, even with the different cultures, like the Asian who owned the store,
Mm-hmm.
funneled into temptation.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like you said, bro. It's a very multi-layered movie. It makes you think. I'm hoping that people look at it and think and don't just go for the low hanging fruit and you know what I'm saying, miss the actual excuse me, miss the actual message. Like you said, it's about, you know, temptation and what choice will you go from it? Will you stick to your morals and what you know is right? Or like you said, will you sell out and compromise yourself or your soul just for, you know what I'm saying, temporary pleasure, whether it be like you said, money, power, um, or sexual pleasure.
Mm. Even with the man, it's so much. It's a lot, bro. I'm thinking about like the one character there. She half black, half white. Um, she was the one where like she looks white.
Oh,
So
you talking about Mary, the one
yeah,
that's with
Mary.
Stack, right? Yeah, 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 yeah.
So it almost gives you like this Adam and Eve type like vibe with their little situation. But and she's like a Creole type version of Eve,
Mhm,
I guess. And she tempted by both sides, and he was telling her, to save her. He told her to go ahead and just marry
mhm.
with your white side, make everything safe and right. But she was the one that ended up like turning him. And I thought that was kind of like unique and like wondering what he was going with that as well.
Oh yeah. I like you said, bro. I think that was more so like the I don't have to get you violently. Like I even think how she got turned. Like they thought that they could use her quote unquote whiteness to
But when
see
they
what's
started,
going on with the vampires, and they ended up getting her. And
uh,
then in turn, she knew that she would be able to get Stacks because of their
mm,
relationship.
oh, because his
Um,
horniness,
yes.
he just
So
ate the box.
it didn't have to be, like you said, violent. I can come get you with somebody that you know, because your guard is already down. And then boom, she came in there. She was like, he was like, baby, you drooling. She was like, do you want some? And then it was just like, yo, like they, you know what I mean? They went into it.
Well, she's like, "Boy, you drooling. I ain't never had that though. You ain't never did that trick." Well, I know you, Becky. I know you got some tools in your box, but golly, you ain't break that one out yet. Let me see what that spit game is. Golly, boy.
Oh man.
The next level throat, boy, you pull out something different. Then I thought, what do your take on like Big Boy, the security
Cornbread.
guard, big cornbread? You
Yeah.
remember like when
Mm.
when Smoke told his wife, like, "Boy, I know you ain't please your wife," and like, "Boy, I know she ain't been pleased since you had her, boy." Like, golly. And his mind, in her mind, she was like, "Damn, this nigga right. I ain't been pleased yet. Hey, boy, you better go get that money."
Right.
That's what.
It was like you said, it's an interesting dynamic when you sit there and think about, how we interact, and you know what I'm saying, whether it's the shortcomings or whatnot. So um yeah, that was something, man.
One of the cultural takeaways I thought was pretty cool or was interesting when he said, when it was the one scene and he was like, well, he was trying to explain to his cousin. I think they're cousin, but he was like, Chicago ain't nothing but tall buildings instead of
Mhm.
plantations. And he's like, you think that like, it's so bad down here and so racist, but like you go out into the world because they've been out to the world and they've seen other places. And he just playing, hey, bro, that big city life is the same shit. It
It's
just
the
like
same
instead of
shit.
plantations, they just got something else pretty and fancy to wave in front of you.
Hmm.
I
and,
thought
and
that was
and go ahead,
go
my
ahead.
bad.
No, you good.
I was gonna say, yeah, I think that goes back to what you was talking about before, when it's like we get so caught up in what we see on the regular that we want something different, or we think that it's something different. And then, like you said, I was just letting them know, like, okay, yeah, we from Mississippi. We went to Chicago and we still face the exact same thing. They sold us on, like you said, a bigger building. So that was maybe a different distractions, but the interactions between the people was still the same. So he was trying to still tell them, like, cuz, like, just focus on what you need to be focused on, and leave all this other stuff alone.
Hmm. I'll tell you what. Since we on the topic of plantations, man, I got a clip I want to play you, man. I'm just me
Hmm.
thinking about the draft just happened.
Hmm.
Shadeur, that boy dropped the 5. That boy
Mm.
went to the 5, man. I love Dr. Umar. Your brother. He just put out a fantastic. He been putting out hit pieces on Art of Dialogue and all the other different podcast channels. I like like his message, but I got a video from all the commissioners, man, before they before Shadeur got picked up, man. I'm gonna go ahead and play
Mhm.
it, man.
All
Live
right.
from the draft, dog. You know what I'm saying? This is next level. Nobody got this content. You know what I'm saying?
Exclusive.
This is an exclusive, bro. If I think I got it somewhere. At least I hope so. If I don't, then we're gonna have to figure some things out. But this is the meeting. This is the meeting that got played, man.
The people that run the Super Bowl had to come to people who run the music industry and be like, you guys, you're letting your niggas get out of hand.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, that Kanye. If somebody take a knee for it, where's he out of there? See, that's the problem. You let them last too long. In our league, they're for 2 years, 3 years, they're out of there. They deal with we got Tom Brady. He's great. We made Mahomes throw that kicking Super Bowl. So Tom can get his 7th ring and shit. But like,
Oh man, yeah. Fresh from the draft, man.
um.
Yeah, that's the commentary, man. When they got the email, everybody got the email. You know
Mhm.
what I'm saying? That's the voicemail that they got, man. That's got it like, hey man, you letting your niggas get out of control, bro.
Yeah. I do feel that there is some form of collusion going on. It is a bit of a conspiracy for what we want to attack it to. I don't necessarily feel that this is a race thing, but I do feel that it is, like you said, it's we have to show who's powerful, who's in control. Um, so I do feel like they did want to send a message to Shadeur, um, whether it was to him or it was to his dad. I do feel like they wanted to make an example that nobody's bigger than the shield, nobody's bigger than the game, because their fear was, if now the players are in control or in the limelight, then that'll take attention away from us. So I feel like they did do that on purpose. The crazy part was that they said um, day two and day three of the draft had some of the highest numbers because he still hasn't been drafted yet. People were literally tuned in to see where Shadeur is going to go. And then they said that he has now the highest sale amongst rookies. So it was like they was trying to show who had the power. Yeah, we gonna make you slip. But then it went back to the people, and the people was like, no, we let you know where our loyalty or where we aligned at is with Shadeur. So I think it kind of sort of backfired a little bit on them. But yeah, they definitely try to prove a message.
Yeah, and that's what Dr. Umar was saying. Shout out to Dr. Umar. He was saying that it looked like it was just a message from the NFL, of showing, a power
Hmm.
move. In my opinion, I don't know, like it kind of gives like almost like the rhetoric and stuff. It almost kind of give like Kaepernick 2.0 vibes with a twist to like almost like some Black Tebow in there. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Like you got because there's like a aura about that family, a
Hmm.
spiritual aura where you just like you want to root for them. You know what I'm saying? Like
Hmm.
you see you see all the odds against him, and no way this kid is a 5th round draft pick. They drafted the Cleveland Baby Oil Browns. Cleveland Baby Oil Browns. Them boy you them boys done drafted some bullshit before him. Like, yo, what are y'all they drafted another quarterback before him, and I don't
Hmm.
think they expected him to still be on the board at that pick, and at that point, it was like a no-brainer. They had to do it. They didn't have to. I wouldn't have been surprised if nobody drafted him, to be real with you. And it made me wonder, like, what will it take, like, for us to just, like, we talk about all these different protests, right?
Hmm.
Why don't we just, like, why didn't we just protest, like, continue to protest? Why we started back watching it after the Kaepernick shit? Like, I don't understand.
Um, that I don't know, bro. I wish I had the answer to, but I don't know. I do feel that, like you said, with the Target thing, I know that's gaining momentum. So yeah, it would make it that way. I think it would just take a lot of people to sacrifice. It's hard for them to go away from what they consider their dream, or what's been put in front of them for so many years, that they like, I gotta get drafted. I gotta make
I'm
it.
talking
This
about
is
from a consumer
yeah,
aspect,
yeah.
us the
Um,
people, okay, the players, them we know them niggas, boy, entertainers, all the entertainers, them, hey, y'all, they gonna continue to show you they gonna do anything for that money. But the consumer, us watching it, like,
mhm.
what will it take for us to be like, you know what, as a consumer, I don't rock with the product.
um, I don't know, because even in basketball with the whole Donald Sterling thing, like, we ain't even protest basketball that long.
Mm-mm.
Um,
That boy, that boy,
so
that boy got whole TV shows behind him getting that doggone number. That boy got golly, well, that boy got text messages, all type of wild stuff that went out.
yeah, don't
Yeah,
bring Magic
doggone
Johnson around me. That's what he said.
Jerry Jones, them listening to
Same thing, Terry
Jerry
Jones. Come
Jones
on.
telling him, "Hey, I wanna see what that meat look like." You know what I'm saying? Like, I wanna draft like, he out there just looking, scouting talent based off the meat size. And I don't blame them boy, I don't blame them boy, like, Shadeur like, "Man, I ain't putting my drawers on running no 40. I
For
ain't
you to
doing it."
lust after me.
Yeah, man, Jerry Jones done showed me what he wanted to see. Come on, cuz.
Oh man. Yeah,
Like,
I don't. That's wild, bro. I can't believe that he really, really did that, bro. Like, come on, that's too far, bro. Like, it's some sick people in the world, bro.
that's that's a crazy thing. Like, we'll get it on here, niggas are talking about, "Oh, man, let's figure out how we can do a hundred niggas versus one gorilla. Let's figure out how we can beat that." But you can't get 100 y'all to stop watching this damn doggone slave plantation doggone, uh it's you can't get 100 y'all to down go to a school board meeting to figure out, "Hey, man, what's going on with these laws that going on around here with this
Mhm.
education system?" Or you can't man, it just makes you wonder, like, bro, like, what will it take for people to be like, "You know what? I ain't rocking with the NFL no more." I just feel like it's like they one of them it's a couple different entities, right? When I was
Mhm.
listening to, Key's last joint, and it made me wonder, like, bro, like, what if we just stop adding to the machine? Like,
Mhm.
even AI, like, what if we just, like, unplug from it, don't even add nothing to it? Like, you
No,
know what
no,
I'm saying?
that.
'Cause like, like, 'cause they were about, "Okay, the robots are gonna take your jobs." Well, the robot can't do nothing. If you don't add nothing to the robot to give them information on how to take your damn job, nigga, like,
Mhm.
what if you stop or what if all be like, "Alright, let's stop fucking with the robot.
Mhm.
Alright, let's stop fucking with NFL." Like, what does that look like? Like, I think we are powerful. I think we do, um, in this day and age, we talked about it being like an information age. So much stuff is out there for us, and I do think it's perfect time right now for us to put our thoughts together on ways to build, and not like be distracted
Mhm.
with the devils that we were just talking about.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
and like even with like Trump coming out and tweeting that, and Umar called it out. He was like, "Yo, if you really meant it, like if you really rock with him, why don't you just make a call? Why don't you call Goodell and be like, hey, this is illegal."
Yeah, he needs to get picked. Yeah, you right, bro. Like you said, they show bits and pieces, bro. They'll give little crumbs, like you said, because it is a distraction. It is a big circus. Um, but like you said, you alluded to what Keys was saying. That is really how we have to win. Is we have to stop feeding it. Now, what is it going to take to make us actually starve it out? It may take something drastic, but you and what Keys is saying is the thing. We have to stop giving it attention. And then that is how we'll actually win. But like you said, then the next challenge is getting everybody in sync to be able to starve that distraction or be able to, you know what I'm saying, not give it attention so that we can, you know what I'm saying, rebalance things. That's the real.
That's the real, one versus the hunted nigga versus the gorilla. That's the real
Mhm,
that's the one right there. That's the gorilla. That's the
mhm.
gorilla we need to figure out how to beat. Alright. You know what I'm saying? My dog, he going to the Cleveland baby oil Browns, alright? Yo yo, you see they setting up the drama, dog. You got black on black,
Mhm,
quarterback drama they brewing up right now. You got
mhm.
Deshaun Watson out there, you know what I'm saying, lubed up with all the oils. He got all the doggone, massage recipes out there. He ready cooking for him. Hey, Shadeur, don't go out there, don't get indulged, bro. Hey, stay away.
Correct.
You know what I'm
Correct.
saying? We just talked about all the different temptations. Don't go out there and get the
Mhm.
rub down. Go out there, focus on business. But also don't go out there and get into what they want. They trying to stir up, be like, "Yo, it's ugly, nasty work, bro." Like if you think about cause he's gonna go there, and he's gonna shine. Ain't no way
Mhm.
he's the 3rd string quarterback on that roster, dog. Ain't no way he should have been on the Browns. But if he's able, I saw that he got his jersey selling on his own website, which I thought was, another unique move for ownership. Like, all right,
Mhm.
or empower himself to be like, all right, let me go. Y'all wanna, it's up. You know what I'm saying? Y'all got a problem with me. I'm gonna go ahead and put my product elsewhere and we'll see what they do. Um, which I think a lot of these players should look at because he's coming into the game and his mind, like, he don't need the money. Like,
Mm-mm.
he coming in on a different, like, tone. Like, yeah, you gotta handle me with care. And I don't think they like that.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Because like you said, bro, they used to having something or holding something over you. You coming from poverty, I'm giving you this money. You gonna act right because you want this money to take care of your family. But like you said, they already got money. They already established. So you can't now use the money against me. You got to come up with other tactics to make people not like me, or you got to give other distractions to try to see if I'm not gonna stay the course. But yeah, bro, he get this jersey thing right, and they're buying from his site instead of NFL.com or whatever. That's a big power move. He's showing that he can fight through adversity, and you know what I'm saying, the challenges in front of him. That's something great for other people to look forward to and see, hey, I can do the same thing. Whatever they place in front of me to try to stop me, I can overcome those obstacles. So it's a lot at play here, bro. It's a lot at play here.
So it was a bunch of like people cheering, like, "Oh yeah, he needed that piece of humble pie. Yeah, they humbled him." And my mind like, "Yo, y'all don't see what the hell's going on." That just amplify his platform, bro. That just amplify his platform 10 times. And I don't think the NFL was prepared for it. Like
Mm-mm.
they want to humble him, but people gonna rally behind America loves a good doggone, comeback
Mm-hmm.
story. Like they love rooting for the guy that's been down, and like y'all giving them the recipe for success right now. So I think that is like that's what made me think of the Tebow thing, you know. But I think he got way more. He got better skill sets than
Oh,
Tebow.
definitely a better skill set. But like you said, I even think, even though they say Shadeur is they want to call him cocky. I think he's very confident. I don't think that he's has that I'm better than everybody. I think he just has belief in himself. And that type of energy, like you said, is similar to Tebow. Tebow had, his faith that he believed in so strongly, and to some people that offended him. They didn't like the fact that he got all of that attention. But like you said, yeah, I feel that's one of the reasons that kept him out of the first round, because like you said, now it's the attention ain't on the team, it's on the player. But like you said, they gave him so much ammunition, he's gonna continue to shine, and it's still gonna be the player in front of the team. So they still losing.
Man, you know what was the coolest thing, the coolest part about this whole situation? Dog was so cool on the Trumbull. When that doggone boy, that Falcons coach, his kid had did a prank
Mm-hmm.
call, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, golly, boy, that's cold work. They done prank call, dog. Like I prank call was our shit growing up, bro. I would go up
Mm-hmm.
by the crib like in wee hours and do a nice little prank call on your dad and them. Boy, that was my bad right there, boy. I put a white voice on real quick and do like act like you know what I'm saying, a bill collector or something, and just like or act like like, oh, you got the wrong. I would throw a different voice and do a prank call on you quick. But the way that they did that prank call on Shadeur was so nasty, dog. Coming from the NFL, and they
Mm-hmm.
saying that like, oh, it came from the coach's kid. It wasn't from the coach. And I think the coach is just using his kid as you know what I'm saying. Hey, you the sacrificial lamb right now. You know,
Mm-hmm.
gotta keep the bread coming in. But the way he handled it, I thought was pretty like and he was like, "Nah, they wanna see me crying in front of a TV. They wanna see me like" yo, this is all, like, motivational, like, 101 of, like, mindset
Mm-hmm.
of, no matter what I'm going through in life, you ain't gonna take me there. You're not gonna take me. You ain't gonna I'm not gonna let the devil in. That's another
Mm-hmm.
thing about sinners that I thought was pretty cool about, like, alright, you can't invite the devil in. And
Mm-hmm.
that was a way that he could have been like, I let people into my not into my physical space, but in my mind. Sometimes
Mm-hmm.
we let the devil in our mind and it messes up, throws off our whole trajectory. So I love how he just kinda like peeped everything out and he just went to work,
Mm-hmm.
called it out, put it on, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna take this moment, show y'all what the games that they playing. And that just added fuel to the fire. It made people like, "Yo, I wanna see this kid win." I thought that was pretty cool on how he handled that,
Oh
you
yeah,
know?
oh yeah. And then another connection, bro, back to sinners is like we got done saying brotherhood. I think Shiloh was a great big brother. Knew when to do the comic relief, knew how to get, to break some of the tension. That brotherhood bond and that family. Again, like you
Oh,
said,
boy,
they
the way Shiloh was messing with Pop, I know,
yeah.
boy, golly.
Like you said, bro, I don't think they was ready for they thought they had a plan in place, but they didn't understand the family dynamic. They didn't understand the part of the family was the brother dynamic, and then even still they didn't understand the faith dynamic. For like you said, to him to have that resolve to be like, I know you want to see me broken down, and I'm not gonna give you that because I have strong faith in not only myself but in my creator, and I know that I wouldn't be in this situation if I wasn't good enough. So whatever you try to throw at me, it means nothing. Me and my faith will be able to overcome it. And I think that was a great lesson for the people to see.
What do you think going through Dion head at that moment?
Um, I think Dion finna get his get back. I know they wanted him to coach. Um, I think that now ship has sailed, or if he does coach, I think he gonna ask for an insane amount of money just to show you, like, you tried to play in my face when it came to my sons, and I'm gonna show you. So I think Dion gonna get his get back somehow, some way. He gonna get his get back.
Oh, yeah, I know, he was like, "Golly, boy, nigga, I done gave y'all doggone 8 of my toes. I'm sitting in them mud." You know what I'm saying? Barely can, I done walked around and scooted around for 3 years, and y'all gonna do this to me right now on public TV? I done scooted
Uh,
around with my scooter. I I got 2 toes and a black foot, and
mhm,
y'all playing in my face right now, bro. I know he was like,
mhm.
"Boy, just because my son ain't wanna put his drawers on and run the 40 in front of Jerry Jones." He this man is a Super Bowl GOAT, bro. This man got Super
Yes.
Bowl rings. This man he done bled, like, I wonder, like, a part of him as a father, like, "Yo, what am I like? Why am I putting my sons through this? I wonder, like, as a father, like when you put all the blood, sweat, and tears into an organization,
Mhm.
dog, I'm talking about like he put a lot into talking about that shield.
Mhm.
Them boy treat that damn shield like they NYPD or some shit.
Mhm.
Like they the feds. They like, bro, they go crazy about that shield. This man, Super Bowl champ, played for 3 different teams and excelled at them.
Mhm.
Spoke highly of that organization since he been, like, a part of it.
Mhm.
And for this to happen, this is like a major slap in the face, bro. I can't imagine, like, what's going through his head as a father, as the ultimate get back for me, to be real with you, dog, and this is just, like, on Prime. You ain't gotta see none of this shit through Prime. This is my radical ass mind. Now, I ain't gonna even put it out there. I ain't even put it out there because
Oh man,
nah,
you had
alright,
me
nah.
anxious,
So
bro.
I think, y'all boys go in there, y'all already got the influence, y'all already got the talent.
Mhm.
Ball out, get that bag, and create your own league. That'll be your next
Mm.
contract. Your next contract will be you talking to all these doggone black, wealthy, million billionaires who got some type of money and influence and say, "Hey, put put your plan together, show them what your plan is, and start your own league." I think that's the ultimate slap in the face back to them. Uh,
I'll say this. I'm not opposed. I do know that goes back to the fear thing we talked about. Ice Cube talked about it with the NBA, how they was afraid of his big three.
oh yeah,
Um,
Ice Cube,
so
he brought out a bunch of fat niggas like Cadillac and like all these other random niggas. Yeah, hey man, Prime pull up with some real like. Go ahead, my bad, homie.
yeah, no, you good. So I do know that that's that. Um, to speak to the prime thing, like you said, if Dwayne the Rock Johnson,
Mhm.
right, can come up with some investors and find a way to save a failing league and then merge it with another league, that's another example. And then what that other league did, I don't want to say other league, that sounds disrespectful, but what the women did in the WNBA with their 3-on-3 league and how it rivaled the WNBA, I
Mm.
think you right on point, bro, that if they come together with a honest plan, because they got the blueprints in front of them, if they come together with an honest plan and the right
He already
investors
got relationships with those people.
with the relationships with the people, that can really, like you said, what is gonna make us not watch the NFL? If he puts that move together, that could be something that can
Bro, that's the
really
play.
get people away from the NFL.
That's the play, bro. And he already got a relationship with The Rock. Them boys already like you see him on because The Rock he bring Prime out to the when he was at Jackson State.
Hmm.
The Rock will bring Prime out to talk to his players. They already got some type of relationship going on with that. I think if I was Prime, that would be the play.
Yeah.
That would be the play. Cause his son, them boys already they got the juice. They just
Hmm.
showed you like, hey, the reason why y'all handcuff my son because y'all need folks to tune into this shitty ass draft that nobody else want to watch. So they already showed that they got the sauce.
Hmm.
He done showed you got the sauce by going to the damn Jackson State, Mississippi, out there sweating his ass. We talked about the Delta earlier, boy. The boy, golly, boy. He was at the Crossroads. He was at the doggone college football Crossroads. He sold his soul with the Colorado. Golly. See, that's why you don't sell your soul, kid. Right there, boy.
No, that's a good analogy though. All jokes aside, bro, that was a nice way to tie that together, bro. That was chef's
Yeah.
kiss, bro.
But it's so much I want to talk to you about. But we had an hour now. You want to keep rocking, or where you at with it?
Yeah, man. Let's keep rolling, bro.
Tell you what, man. I want to get your take on it. You know, we talked about Trump a little bit earlier, bro.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, right now on these streets, we got a little Black MAGA civil war going on right now. Got a little, like, you know what I'm saying? I see Candace Owens and Stephen A. Smith. Them boy, they about to tangle.
They
I,
about to they said
yeah,
some words, bro.
yeah. They've been taking shots at each other publicly. They've been going back and forth. I know Stephen A. just went out and he went on a limb. Candace, she been in her bag, man. She trying to do a little damage control.
Yes, yes.
I think they
I
both
did see
are.
her.
Yeah.
I seen her do a little backpedaling a little bit on her endorsement of Trump. But I'm curious, bro, of what Stephen A said to her.
I should have had the clip lined up for it. I should have had the clip lined up. But I think it's all performative, to be real with you. Like, um, for them even entertaining Stephen A. Smith is wild.
Oh my gosh, bro. Listen, I don't even get how he would be, like you said, in consideration for that, bro. Like,
But they floating that idea of both of them. I'm talking about like people floating that. Oh, I would vote for Stephen A. or I would vote for Candace. What do you think of it, man?
these people ain't serious, bro. Like, it shows like we not serious about like actual change or actual growth. Like we really just, like you said, we're here for the theatrics. We're here for the performance. Like, and again, I'm not saying that you have to have a background in government or policies in order to be. I'm not saying that has to be a requirement, but at least let it be somebody who's serious. You know what I mean? Like nowhere in it has he talked about being serious about helping people. Been reporting on sports. You know what I'm saying? Not to down talk it anyway. And the same thing with Candace. She hasn't been talking about really change. She's just really been about combating whatever's in front of her type of thing. You know what I'm saying? She's about being like a nemesis or a antagonist more so than a villain. So it's like we really need people that's gonna come in and be like, no, look, I care about the people. We
Mhm.
done dealt with enough bullshit. We need to change and not sit here and get, personalities to tune in for, you know what I'm saying? Like, come on, like think about it, bro. What is these other countries gonna sit here and think? And we got Stephen A. Smith talking about, you know what I'm saying? The policies
Yeah.
he gonna talk about. Like, come on,
Them
bro.
boys gonna be like, "Damn, I just watched you on ESPN Euro, and now now you
Deportes.
yeah, I don't watch you on ESPN, dog, on Deportes. Now you running them people shit? Oh, man, boy, hell no.
Oh, bro.
I can't take y'all serious whatsoever. Hell, it muddies the water, bro. Like,
Mhm.
it like, they both like, if y'all really care, y'all would be outside of those platforms that you own, the performative side of things, y'all will be actively like trying to find solutions to like these real
Yes.
problems, not just like talking about them and making a spectacle out of everything. And it's just like I think we're at the point now, like people are just like, bro, like I'm just over it, bro. Like if you ain't got no real life solutions for what the fuck going on in my life, I don't even want to hear it. I think that's what people like our people at the
Mhm.
moment. Like we not trying to be we at that stage where I don't think a lot of people realize like how tapped out we are of all of this shit. Like and
Mm.
it's unfortunate, but because you're gonna start seeing like with like these hits at the ports and like these tariffs and stuff, like it's about to get real. And they talking about, all right, well, they predicting recessions and stuff. Like people, it's really about to impact people in a major way. And the last thing we need to be seeing is y'all on these damn doggone like y'all make a nigga like I don't even want to turn on TV now because I don't even
Mhm.
want to pick up my phone now. And should be another reason why you should unplug, right? Because this is another example of people playing in your face. And how long are we gonna just continue to let it happen? But I do think we need to find some real ways of, if we're gonna go the route of unplugging from all this, we do have to have a system intact to do it, and
Mhm.
not just do it cold turkey. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Not just do it and be like, all right, now what? uh, because it's almost like a drug. Like you gotta like. I mean, I was telling Nova on the last show, like, yo, I think you addicted to your phone. If you need that motherfucker in the shower, bro, like you showing me that you can't let that bitch go. Like you addicted, like.
Mhm.
And I don't think a lot of people, when you speak of addiction and stuff like that, it's something that people don't take light to, or too prideful to admit that, hey, I got a problem with this. Um, and I don't think it's just a black culture thing. I think it's just American culture thing when it comes to these devices and whatnot. But that's another talk. But dealing with a boy, man, I think there's gonna continue to be ways to rile people up, whether it's the 100 niggas versus gorilla, or it's like crazy stuff that's going on with like NFL sports stuff. Now he talking about bringing back Columbus Day, bro. Bring- Bringing back Columbus Day. What,
Yeah.
go ahead and get in your woke pad, bro. Bring
Um
we bringing back C Day.
I I'll say this. I feel that he revealed or brought to light a lot of things in his first presidency. Um, and he's doing that again here. And like you said, I feel like if we aren't strong enough, we will continue to be, I don't want to say affected, but we will continue to be swayed by it. He's just trying to throw some power around. Look, we go back to starving it out. We sit here and don't get this man no attention. It's not going, you know what I'm saying? It's not going to do nothing. You can sit here and put it on the books all you want. Then somebody else, the person that's gonna come next behind you, is gonna sit there and then take it back off. Now we paying the putting it on, taking it off game. So it's like if we just don't feed into it,
Mhm.
like you said, I think he just grabbing for straws. Okay, they not talking about division enough, so now I'm finna bring division back. We gonna bring back Columbus Day, like just to get them
Hey, you know what?
riled back
Know
up.
what? Hey, I may be wrong, but the way my brain operate weird sometimes. You know what I think? How he gonna roll it out, dog? I think he gonna roll it out the same way he did the Gulf of America shit. I think,
You know.
now he gonna remix that bitch. He gonna be Confederate Day. What? He like,
mm,
that didn't rile him up.
mm,
I'm bringing it back. I'm calling it Confederate Day.
mm. Yeah, bro. You might be a little bit of foreshadowing, bro. We might have to timestamp this because come next year or within these next 3 years, if he sit there and does that, bro, you might have, you might be the Mr. Cleo, not Miss Cleo. You might be Mr. Cleo, bro.
I'm trying to, he keep pushing it like, all right, how can I really get under these niggas' skin?
And they and a certain demographic is gonna grasp that and love it and want to be front and center about it. So that is a strategical play, bro. That really is, bro.
I hope I'm wrong, but the way he operating, he's trying to find a way to rile the people up, even with the.
Mhm,
And that's what made me think about the Cap 2.0 type deal. And I hope like culturally, like we don't buy into like none of it. Like I hope we learned enough lessons to first go around to be like, you know what? All right, fuck it. Like all right.
mhm,
It is what it is.
mhm.
And while that's happening, though, we can't just like sit around and be idle. I think that's the important part. with all this information, you do have to do your due diligence and like, all right, well, like how do I get myself in a better situation? Like even if all these jobs are going to be erased, or if all these different, like, because we're going to see a huge economic gap in wages when it comes to like all these damn student, like the price of college, everything's about to just be crazy, and they're going to
Mm-hmm.
price or try to price us out, and even with the jobs. But what I think a lot of times I don't want to say what I think because it could be weaponized,
Mm-hmm.
and I do want to be mindful of that, in this day and age. Was so, I think it's so weird, not weird, but yeah, weird. I can say weird is that people, if they're not like the way that they weaponize or try to like make everything like a thing to where like where they use, if your thought process is different than theirs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I got somebody had gave me a call and it was like, "Hey, oh, you be careful if you talk about this and that. Well, you can't talk about X, Y, Z." I'm like, "Why? Why can't I talk about, you know, like I'm not gonna disrespect anybody. Why can't have a free thought or a
Mm-hmm.
different thought process to you and it be why is it that a problem?" And I don't think people are paying attention to how like they it's okay, like it's cool when it just weird times where like if your voice is different or if you have a different opinion, right or left, on how people, I don't even want to say counsel because I don't even think that's like real. It's real in a sense to where nah, it's some real shit on how they can counsel you and get you up out of here. But if you have the resources, I don't think it's real. But if like
Right.
if you're the average person, they the powers that be will try to mute you in a
Mm-hmm.
lot of ways, and that's not like, we got to ask ourselves like, where are we going with this in a lot of ways? Like we can't even have free thought without being punished.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that I even have to like sit here and think about a strategic way of saying, how I really want to say things, it lets you know like it's real. And sometimes people will try to like, oh no, you're just like they people will find condescending ways or to be dismissive without even
Mm-hmm.
realizing that they're being dismissive about what's really going on in your real life. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
I probably
No
talked
doubt.
myself in circles on that one.
No, bro. Listen, trust me. I definitely, because I know you, I definitely understand what it is that you're saying. Um, and and I love to see that process. Um, but like you said, I think that is the uh, for lack of better words, and not to try to sound inhumane, but that is the silent war, that they are trying to take away your ability to freely think or to form independent ideas. You were right about, bro. It's not necessarily a cancel, but they will find a way to minimize your voice, or they will try to get people against you just because, like you said, you're trying to bring up a situation as to why are things this way. And I think what happens is it's fear. I feel this fear on both parts. Fear, people don't want to speak up because they know what will happen to them. And then I think people are not letting you speak up because they fear what's going to happen to them, that they're going to have to give up their life, their comfortability, their advantages, and they're not willing to face the fact that they've had advantages, so they want to try to keep people out. So Yeah, man. I think fear is a big thing. I think that's why they lead so much with fear and their distractions is because they know that is a powerful energy. And as long as I can keep you tapped into that fear, you're not thinking, about how to fix it because you're just living in fear. You're not thinking about a way to escape. You're just making sure that don't nobody else come in, bro. So no, I understand what you're saying, man. 100%.
Damn, bro, that was deep. Um, because it makes you think. um, it's a lot of parallels to that movie Sinners, man. And every time we chase whatever we chasing, in that movie, it tells you lose a piece of yourself,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes we we got to be mindful of not selling our gift for fame or fear, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and you just got to build with intention and just knowing that, you know, and that's the thing. There's no guidebook on life, though. You know what I'm saying? And there maybe is a guidebook. Maybe there are books that's out there. Some
Mm-hmm.
niggas told you they don't like to read. But like if y'all don't mind, you know what I'm saying, open up a couple of these books. There's some people that done came here before us and told us some things that, hey, maybe like let me figure out. Let's do some self discovery and get back to like some ground level and of who I am, how I got here, and how I can make my generation or next generation better. Because everything,
Mhm,
I think life is about making the next generation better. You're never gonna. You should spend your life like finding your purpose, right? But
mhm.
a lot of people just walking around this motherfucker aimlessly, don't even know what the hell they just wake up, look at TikTok, and like, yeah. I'm about to show them what these fans do. You know what I'm saying? About to learn the new dance and shake my ass a little bit and just like lose their intention. But I don't want to get too far into the weeds. But I was reading Big Sean book, which is what's the name of his joint? Go Higher or something like that. I think is what it's called.
Okay.
I don't know if you heard. What are you reading these days?
Uh,
What you
now you got me finna open up my iBooks on my phone, bro. Don't laugh at me, bro.
I don't know if I'm gonna laugh. You reading some damn green eggs and ham type shit.
No, just to my baby, bro.
Okay, okay. Mm.
Um, let's see. The last couple books, bro, that I got. I got a book on chakras. I got a handbook to Native American herbs. Um, and then I got this book, bro, on it's called Atomic Habits. Tiny changes to remarkable results. So those are the latest three books that I done kind of sort of been diving in a little bit on.
I like that. I'm gonna hit you up on the side too, so that way you can text me what you got going on. That way I can kind of plug into them. But
Okay.
I was reading. I think it's like chapter 3 or 4. What I was reading today, with which Big Sean book, Go Higher, and it resonated to what we're talking about because in these times people are struggling with their
Hmm.
finances, and he was saying that worrying about money is the easiest way to push it away.
Yes.
So whatever your situation is, like, don't worry about it. I think you just got to lock in on your intentions, on who you are and what your purpose is, and then it'll come. That money will come, like, as long as you're doing what you designed and on this earth to do. It'll come, but don't sit around worrying about it. Is not gonna solve your problems. Finding ways to get to the solution to your problem is the key. And, I guess the last thing is talking about our gifts, right? So just make sure that we try to, like, align our gifts, with right spirits. We're
Hmm.
talking about people and their vices and not being controlled, but, align your spirit in the right space and not for like the most likes, if that makes sense. But
Oh yeah, most definitely, bro. My granny used to say worrying is like a rocking chair. You just going back and forth. You ain't really moving.
Oh, God, boy, I gotta end it on that one. Worrying is like a rocking chair. You just going back and forth. Damn, a lot of us going back and forth on whether or not I should try to fight that gorilla.
Oh, bro.
Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and end it with that, man. I guess call to action is don't let the devil in, man.
That's it.
It's been real, brother Gio. I'm gonna call these woke Wednesdays, man. Hopefully every Wednesday we can get the people some food, man. And you know, at the end of each one, we'll try to add different. It'll grow. We'll add different tools the way we can kind of build on. But it's been real, man. It's Culture Uncut podcast. We out.